So we are just going to chill here for a minute or two to see if people come on, see if people have issues, so we can help. How is everyone? You are here for Bedroom Essentials with Kristina, Tokatli, and me.
I love that you said my name right away. People have such a hard time with it. I'm like, why?
I just love all sounds and languages. I just do my best.
I love it.
That is all I can do. We should have had a beautiful, like, sexy music situation.
I know, right? Some mood music.
So, okay. So people are jumping on.
Awesome.
Hi, Maris. All right. I just wanted to make sure people can see us, hear us. It is recording. Hopefully we have enough space to record. We'll go with it. Yay. Okay. So you can hear us, see us, all the things, Marissa? All the stuff and all the things.
Oh, yay.
Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Alrighty. So how was your day, Kristina, so far?
So far, so good.
Good. Okay, so do you think we should start right away?
I think let's jump into it.
Let's do this. Let's do this thing. All right. So welcome to Bedroom Essentials. We are so excited to do this webinar for you. Kristina and I met at a vendor event moons ago. Yeah. And clicked immediately. And since it was Valentine's Day month, the month of love, we decided to bring our forces together and give you this fabulous webinar, if we do say so ourselves. Okay, so today we're talking about essential oils, and essentials in the bedroom. I'll do the oil part, she'll do the education part. And Kristina and I hear from so many women and men, but so many women who feel like they just aren't in the mood anymore, you know? And so there's a lot of reasons why couples get to this place of complacency. And today we are going to show you a few of the tools to work on changing that. So if you're single and thinking like, what can I learn from this? You might not be attracting the right partner for many of the same reasons. So some of the tools we're going to talk about today are going to be the importance of communication, both verbal, nonverbal, the role of pheromones and essential oils, all of which should be in your sensual toolbox. We're going to look at how all of these things can help in creating a deeper intimacy with yourself, first and foremost, and your partner. So we're going to try to roll this out in about 45 minutes, so about 20 or so minutes each, giving you a really quick overview on each of the topics, since we want to respect your time, but we will remind you how to get in touch with us afterward if you want to dive deeper in any of the topics. So questions we'll leave till the end, or feel free to use the chat box throughout the webinar. So just real quick about me, and then I'm going to hand it over to Kristina. I'm a holistic wellness coach and mama with over 15 years experience as a yoga meditation practitioner and educator. I've been a user of essential oils for over a decade and am now a global health educator on essential oils, as well as a business owner and mentor in that same field. I've changed my own health with the use of essential oils, and I love, love, love learning how to use them in different ways, and that I get to team up with cool people like Kristina to teach you how to combine essential oils with just about anything that you want to heal in your life. So with that, I will give it over to Kristina.
Thank you so much. Yes, I love that we just clicked immediately, and I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect thing to do together. So it made me really happy. My name is Kristina, and I am a sex educator. I work with Athena's Home Novelties. I'm also a mom and a wife. When my kids were very young, I was at home and I was like, oh my God, I need to get out of my house. And so direct sales really appealed to me. And I love to talk about sex and pleasure and sex education. So Athena's was just the right fit for me. And that has led me down the path to pursuing a certification in sex education. So I will eventually become ASECT certified as a sex educator, and that's where I'm at right now. So obviously let me bring up my screen here. I love technology when it works the way we want it to.
You're so good at it.
Hey, thanks. All right, so, play, there we go. All right, Okay, did it! Sorry. So yes, I was so thrilled when she was like, we should do this. I was like, absolutely. Um, Toys, that's where I started, right? That's my base. It was selling sex toys, and they're awesome. I can literally sell you something that pretty much pulls the orgasm out of you. But you still have,
Love it.
yes, you still have to put in the work, either with yourself or with your partner, because toys are a great tool, but they're not going to fix things for you, as it were. So one of the biggest and most important things is to communicate with your partner, and maybe even with yourself. Maybe you haven't taken the time to communicate with yourself yet. So one of the biggest impediments for a lot of people being able to experience pleasure is actually stress. Um, and later on, Jenny's going to give you some oils that are going to help you with some of those stressful feelings. But right now, I want to give you the permission to let yourself experience pleasure, because I think that's something that we just don't do enough. I would say women especially, we're not encouraged to partake in pleasure, as it were. So I'm giving you that permission now because it's something that you deserve. And that might mean that you have to do some work with yourself, get to know yourself, your body, because pleasure isn't necessarily only experienced during intercourse or intercourse with a partner. So the you deserve that pleasure, right? It makes you happy. It's better for your overall health, right? You're happy when you've been able to experience pleasure. Great neurochemicals that happen when you're experiencing pleasure as well. So if you're in a relationship with someone else, or you're working with it, maybe it's not a relationship, maybe you just have a partner that you have your sexy time with, I think is the best way to kind of an over-encompassing way to say that. So if you've known your partner for a really long time, you might think that you know what they're thinking. Like, oh, I just know them so well. The problem is that no one is a mind reader, right? We can't read that other person's mind. So it's crucial that you actually talk with your partner verbally. You have to have that verbal communication. And I realize that's really awkward for sometimes. We're not taught to talk to each other about sex. Some of us aren't taught about sex at all to begin with, but I think even more than that, so many people are not taught how to have those conversations, or that it's okay to have those conversations, and they're really important. So when you do, I realize that you can feel really vulnerable in those times. Like, oh, like, I don't know if I don't feel right. No, I want you to just flush all of that out. You deserve to ask for what you want, and you deserve to tell your partner what you need. And again, with yourself too. Like, that's really important. The magic really happens outside of your comfort zone on this one. I promise. I promise. So having those conversations, making yourself vulnerable beforehand is actually going to avoid a lot of resentment and anger afterwards. And all of those things, the resentment and the anger, that's not going to help your relationship with your partner in or out of the bedroom. So it's really important that you have those conversations with your partner before you start engaging in any sexual activities. Making those decisions like in the throes of passion, like as you're ripping off clothes and stuff, like that is really not the best time. Your heart rate's going, your brain is again releasing all of those neurochemicals, endorphins, like, and you're just like, ah, and actually you're almost in a different state of mind. It's almost like you're under the influence. So you don't want that to be the time when you make really important decisions or have really important conversations about what you're okay with. Because sometimes it's not just what feels good, but what you're okay with doing. So you want to make sure that this conversation with your partner is clear and judgment-free, right? You don't want to feel like you're being attacked. You don't want your partner to feel like they're being attacked. But you have to verbally communicate certain things. There are a lot of nonverbal communication that happens, and I will definitely be touching on that later on. I said touching on that. But it's really important to have the actual conversation. Because again, you want to avoid any hurt feelings. You know, your partner can't read your mind either. You can't read their mind. You can't read your mind. So you can't assume that things like, you know, hair pulling and spanking and, oh, I'll just slip a finger in the butt real quick. Like all of those things, I realize those are two very different ends of the spectrum. But those are like, you have to have that conversation with your partner, because you might not know their past and where they're coming from and what experiences they've had. So it's really important to have those conversations. This also means that during, you know, you've had your before conversation, but you might also have to ask some really what feel like awkward questions during sex. Things like, how does this feel? Is this okay? Do you like how that feels? So again, these aren't really questions that we've been conditioned to ask our partner. It's usually just, you know, I think everyone has this understanding that like you should just go with it. Like if it's great, great. If not, like, oh well, we'll try again next time. It doesn't have to be like that. If you're communicating with your partner throughout the whole thing, it's going to be way more pleasurable for both of you. So in addition to asking those questions like, how is this? You also want to make sure that you're telling your partner what's going on with you. So if you need to shift, you know, if you're not digging that their tongue in your ear move that they're doing, like speak up. It's okay to say something. Just watch your delivery. That's really important, right? Like don't have it be like, what are you doing? Make it more of like a, hey, do you think we could try something else? Because there's actually a lot of research that shows that people respond really well when you tell them good things that they're doing. So if you're positively reinforcing your partner, it's going to make them want to do that thing more. And that's just going to work out better for both of you. Yes, verbal communication. It's super important. So this is part of like establishing consent. That whole conversation that you're having beforehand, you're establishing consent on the one hand, to very clearly, you can't say yes to something if you don't know what's being asked. So to assume that like you can just try whatever with your partner is really, it's too much. So let's say they try or you try something in the middle of your sexual encounter, and it's not okay. It's not, there's something, maybe you're triggered, maybe just something is not working. You need to establish a safe word as well as a safe action with your partner. So I never recommend using the word no or stop, especially if you're going to be engaging in some role play, because then it could turn into something like, no, stop, like, don't do that. You know, if you're doing a role play that includes some reluctance, you've just said both your safe words, and now it's not really a safe word anymore. So I encourage you to use a random word that you probably wouldn't say that often, like, I don't know, like parchment or avocado, starfish. These are, for some reason, these are all words that like I've had multiple people be like, yes. Pineapple, like some people use colors. So in the kink community, red is a really common safe word, and that means stop. That's a pretty... That makes a lot of sense, right? Red means stop. And then yellow usually means like, just hold on 1 second so we can shift or whatever, and then we'll get back to it. But when you're having, again, if you're not like in a bigger community here, if it's just you and your partner, you want to make sure that you clearly establish the safe word. And the most important part about it is that when you invoke that safe word is that everything stops. The reason that you want to have a safe action in place too is just in case you can't speak. Maybe you're wearing a ball gag. Maybe your mouth is taped shut. Maybe it's not that, you know, kinky, if you will, and maybe your face is just stuffed into a pillow and your voice can't be heard. So whether it's, you know, 3 snaps or you want to do jazz hands or, again, some motion that you wouldn't do on a normal basis, you need to have some way to communicate to your partner, we need to stop. And again, it's really important that this be a judgment-free thing. There's no, you know, whining, like, what do you mean you want to stop? It's, I'm having an issue. We need to stop right now. And then once you stop, you can assess where you're at, either physically or emotionally or both. And then you can decide from there whether it's cool to continue on or whether you need to stop and maybe try it again some other time. But all of these things, safe words and boundaries, those are really clear ways of respecting your partner, and making the whole experience a lot more pleasurable for both of you. So while verbal communication is really clear and concise, it's also, there are a lot of nonverbal communication that happens, you know, if you talk to people who study communication as their job, they'll tell you that so much of communication is nonverbal. So there's a lot of things that happen when we get aroused. And those are usually pretty good indicators of how your partner is enjoying themselves. So as we become aroused, there's heavy breathing. Sometimes there'll be arching of the back, rocking of the hips, some clenching of the thighs. And then you're also going to see things like hard nipples. There might even be an erect penis. I mean, a lot of these things, again, they're like pretty clear indications that there's arousal happening. You could also see deepening of the colors of the vulva or retraction of the clitoral hood. And there might even be some vaginal lubrication. So if the last three things that I just listed, if you're like, I don't even know what all that means, I would highly encourage you to either attend one of my workshops or one of my parties, because those are my favorite things to talk about. The sex education, the pleasure piece, the anatomy is like, it really makes me happy, because if you own those things, I think you should really know about them, know their appropriate names, know where they are, and know what they do. So again, those are all things that I cover in my workshops and my parties. I do want to make a quick note about vaginal lubrication. Just because you're aroused does not necessarily mean that you're going to produce lubrication naturally. There are so many things that can lead to vaginal dryness or be a factor in vaginal dryness. Antihistamines are one. I recently learned from Jennie that lavender is a natural antihistamine. So that's something that can cause vaginal dryness. Regular just dehydration, not drinking enough water, that can be one. Certain anti-anxiety, antidepressant meds, alcohol. A lot of people don't realize that alcohol can actually contribute to vaginal dryness as well. So Jennie's going to give you some awesome DIY recipes for some essential oil lubes that you can do later on. But I just wanted to, I have like a lube soapbox that I jump up on sometimes. If you don't produce vaginal lubrication naturally, you're not broken. Like, it's really, really common. It's okay. So another non-verbal way that we communicate with people is through our pheromones, right? These are invisible messages. And they're actually chemicals that our body give off to send messages to others. Human pheromones, they haven't actually been able to specify one human pheromone. We have, as you would imagine, a whole mix of different chemicals in our body, natural chemicals in our body. And so they haven't been able to break it down to just one. But human pheromones have been shown to affect menstrual cycles, testosterone production, and readiness to have sex. So in the United States, right, for the most part, we're pretty much conditioned to wash all of that off. Do you smell at all? If you can smell your body, you should probably be showering it off or covering it up in some way. That's why we have so many crazy products and feminine hygiene products, and vaginas must be dirty, they smell. So look, you get where I'm going with this, right? So if you want to increase your pheromones or enhance your pheromones, your body's own natural pheromones, some of the things that you can do are actually shower less. Showering a whole lot is not great for your skin, just the health of your skin. The hot water and some of the harsher soaps that some people use, sometimes they can actually strip away the natural oils, the sebum that your skin needs to be soft and smooth and happy. So excessive showering can actually be bad for your skin as well. So showering less is going to help you enhance your natural pheromones. Working out more is also going to help you increase those. a lot of the studies that they do on human pheromones they use armpit sweat because it's just pretty readily available, and that's where we tend to release a lot of our pheromones. The pubic region also is sometimes called the pheromone carpet because we tend to release a lot of pheromones in that area as well. If you're looking for another way to enhance your pheromones, you can try some products that are specifically designed to enhance your pheromones. Athena's happens to carry a whole category of products. They're called the Roar products. They used to have a different name, so if you're an Athena's faithful, this is that same thing that comes in the little blue bottle. It smells a little bit different on everyone because it works with your body's natural chemistry, so it just enhances that you smell. And then if you want to stay away from anything synthetic or anything like that, you could use an essential oil to help enhance your smell. So less perfumes and stuff like that, and more of the natural, like I said, the essential oils, you want to enhance your smell. So I hope that was a good kind of intro for Jennie. I think I've set you up pretty well. So now we get to find out about exactly what essential oils are, which ones are great for the bedroom, and then we'll bring it back around at the end. So I'm glad that we talked about communication because that's really the foundation for it. And now it's Jennie's turn.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristina. That was amazing. And I'm just going to switch the slides here so y'all can see my screen. So let me just get in here and let me know if you guys can see me. Can you see me? I just lost you, Kristina.
I can see your screen share.
Now you can see it? Okay. Can you see me? Okay.
I can see you.
That's good. Perfect. Awesome. So if you're new to essential oils, I'll give you a quick rundown of what they are, where they come from. And so essential oils come from the trees, the flowers, plants, citrus. Okay, so within those, they come from the leaves, the petals, the stems, the bark, or the roots of that plant. Okay, and then in the case of citruses, it comes from the rind of the fruit. So these are the defense system of the plant. Okay, so the essential oils give their plants their distinctive smells. They protect the plants in the role of plant pollination. And then in addition to their intrinsic benefits to plants and their beautiful fragrance, essential oils have been used for so long for food preparation, body treatment, healthcare practices, you name it. So they have been successfully used for thousands of years. There's virtually no downside to using them as long as you're using them safely, right? Which we'll go through. So if you're anything like me, who was allergic to all scents and fragrances, then you wouldn't have wanted to be around anyone who was using fragrances at all whatsoever, especially not in the bedroom. So like anything else, it's important to educate ourselves about what they are and how they affect us, okay? So what I learned in my years of experimenting with different essential oils was that many of the bottles that I had picked up from different places, various stores, were not as pure as advertised. Fillers had been added, chemical fragrances had been added, and they were heat extracted from the plant instead of steam distilled. Okay, so as you see here, we have the peppermint leaf, and underneath the peppermint leaf, you'll blow it up into a microscope view here and see the little oil sacs of peppermint, and then the stems, the little defense system. And then it's totally different for the lavender. So it's pretty amazing to actually see where these little oils come from on the plant. And when you have the purest therapeutic form of essential oils, they're just that. The oil themselves, the defense system of the plant, the pure aromatic compounds. So what I had been exposed to for years was the synthetic fragrances that made my skin crawl, and that gave me headaches. So when you're looking for your own essential oils, you always want to make sure you're looking for that labeling, certified pure therapeutic grade, okay? So as Kristina mentioned, there's nothing more important than communication. This is with a partner, with a friend, this is with family, with business advocates, business partners rather, but especially in the bedroom. So we all come from different planets, I always say, with totally different perspectives and experiences in the world. And our ability to communicate that is paramount. So make sure you tell your partner why you're wanting to try essential oils in the bedroom. Is it so that you'll feel more ease and more calm? Is it so that you're going to set the mood and use them as aphrodisiacs, which I'll talk about in a second? Is it to extend the orgasm, which I have a beautiful recipe for later? Or is it primarily for you, or do you have it in your idea that you want it for your partner, right? So you really want to be open about that, and you'll learn about all these things in the next 17 or so minutes. So basically there's 3 main ways to use essential oils. And then we added in another romantic way. So actually yeah, you'll see some more slides in a second, but basically 3 main ways to do it. So aromatically is the first one. And I love this quote. It was on a piece of article I used to use for my classes. I finally figured out how to use essential oils. Take off the cap, right? So aromatically, you can just smell them. You can just take off the cap and you can sniff it right from the bottle. You can add a drop to your hand and just sniff it like that. Or you can use, you know, a therapeutic grade level diffuser and diffuse it that way. The pleasant aromas, you know, will not only freshen the air, but they invoke memories. They create a welcoming environment. Some scents are uplifting and some are invigorating, right? And some are calming. So you kind of will get to know which ones work for you. So the second way is topically. Essential oils are lipid soluble, which means that they are easily absorbed by our skin. We have the skin and then our fat layer, and it goes right through that. And then our cells are lined with a lipid layer, the fat layer, and they go straight through. And so massaging the skin will actually increase absorption and improve distribution across that target area. Okay, so carrier oil versus no carrier oil. What helps absorption even more is to use a carrier oil. And, you know, most carrier oils come from the seeds of the plant. So you can think of like grapeseed extract. But you can also use coconut oil, which I find is the most absorbable. And we'll talk a little bit later about why you would want to use a more absorbable one and maybe why not, especially in the bedroom. So, but it also helps to moisturize. It also helps to slow the evaporation of the oil, because these are volatile compounds that, you know, evaporate in the air. And so when we have that carrier oil, it stays topically much, much nicer, and reduces skin sensitivity, of course. So how and where do we apply the oils? You can think of pulse points. You can think of behind, you know, the ears. You can do it on the neck, on your wrist, or sometimes I do it right down the middle of my sternum, in my cleavage or lack thereof. And you can do it on the neck, you know, depending on if you're using it for therapeutic benefits for pain. I do it on my chest, my abdomen, if there's digestive issues or just for emotional stuff. Depending on the oil, some facial areas you want to avoid. Citrus on the skin is fine in some cases, but you don't want to do it before you go out in the sun. Never in the eyes, never in the ear canal, and usually not up the nose. Okay, so internal. And just like putting it in the bathtub, I'll just kind of go clockwise here. In the bathtub, I often will use either an oil or some kind of almond milk with my Epsom salt to make sure that the oils mix a little better with the water, because oils and water don't typically mix. So we want to make sure there's a mixing agent with the Epsom salt. Some kind of carrier oil or almond milk would be great. So internal, most humans, whether we realize it or not, are consuming these volatile aromatic compounds on the daily. So flavorings in your food and drinks, even flavors you may use without thinking, like, you know, just cinnamon spice or using thyme or basil or rosemary to your meals, you're using the aromatic compounds because, as you saw in the picture, they're within the leaves and stems and all that. So in the concentrated form, in the essential oil concentrated form, we have these in small amber bottles, and you can use them to flavor as well, but you don't need that much. Like, you don't need to, you know, if you're sprinkling cinnamon on your oatmeal or something like that, you think like, oh, maybe I need to do a bunch of drops of oils. You need less than 1 drop typically to flavor your food. A great method is to take a toothpick, stick it in the oil bottle. I don't even have my oils with me. I have my hand sanitizer with me. That's about it. So you can stick it in the bottle, put it upside down. The toothpick is now saturated on the tip with it, and use that to flavor food. Okay, so these are basically the basic ways to use them. So now we're going to get into the topic at hand. You know, how does smell actually affect us? And we're going to talk about loss of desire, which is kind of what we were mentioning at the beginning. many women and men talk about a loss of desire at some point in their relationship or maybe at a certain age. First, we need a little background information. So loss of desire can be attributed to many aspects. It can be attributed to physical aspects, emotional, mental, environmental. But lucky for us, essential oils to the rescue. Okay. They can play a huge role in reigniting this desire. So the aroma of these certified pure therapeutic grade oils can directly affect you. Our sense of smell is directly connected to our limbic brain. And this lobe of the brain activates the hypothalamus. Okay, so what does this mean for your love life? The hypothalamus is the hormone control center of your body. It regulates and stimulates your drive, energy levels, and healthy production of your hormones. Ding, 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 right? So it's also in charge of the stress response. And when a stress response is triggered, it sends signals to two other structures, the pituitary gland and the adrenal medulla. Wouldn't it be nice if we got a handle on this part of the brain? So I wanted to continue what Kristina was talking about pheromones and aphrodisiacs. So as she said, pheromones are produced by humans and animals. I'm gonna check the time. By humans and animals, and they're really here for the purpose of mating, right? And so, since pheromones are produced by animals and insects, essential oils do not contain pheromones because essential oils come from plants. On the other hand, sexual attraction and smell are very much connected. Okay, so even when pheromones are not involved. So when you think of an aphrodisiac, you're like, what is that? So this is how an aphrodisiac is defined: a thing that causes excitement, hello, or a food, drink, or drug that stimulates a sexual desire. You know, and it's funny because like these definitions are so dry, and I like to usually make up my own definitions. And this one involving essential oils. So part of the reason that it's hard to kind of prove that something 100% is an aphrodisiac. Like they say, you know, jasmine's an aphrodisiac, patchouli is an aphrodisiac. They'll say sandalwood is an aphrodisiac. But I've had people who straight up can't stand patchouli, right? So we have to understand about what people's needs are, and this is where communication is huge. So, you know, people decipher aphrodisiacs differently. Some things turn one person on, but they won't turn another person on. For example, maybe there's a love song that someone loves, you know, and they want to like get it onto this, but the other person like hates country music or whatever it is. So you have to make sure you're continuing with that communication. But then think about this: with an essential oil, right, like rose, sandalwood, when they enter the body of two different individuals, the chemical reactions are actually going to be the same regardless of our past conditioning, regardless of what triggers our memory, like I said, with the limbic system, regardless of our past experiences. And so both of your bodies, because of certain essential oils, will have increased blood flow. Okay, they will respond to your respiratory system will respond with increased breathing. You know, like Kristina was saying. So in essence, if you want to create an ideal circumstance for great sex, you want the person to be calm, relaxed, blood flow around the genitals. Okay, this is like the trio here. Those are the most important part. And then there was one study done where, you know, that showed the daily use of pleasant smelling essential oil colognes, for example, significantly improves men's mood. Okay, so literally just getting yourself to that state of good mood is going to be huge. It's going to be paramount in starting to feel comfortable. And like Kristina was saying, talking about these things, you know, like being vulnerable ahead of time, practicing which essential oils you want ahead of time so that by the time you get to the bedroom, you're going to know which ones you want instead of experimenting like during the heat of the moment. Okay. So moving on, how do we set this mood? Okay, so when we think of mood setting, you know, a lot of times we do think of the aphrodisiacs, but the truth is it's just like everyone reacts differently. So So when we, like, and as women too, I would say that we're used to pleasing others first, right? Do a lot of us tend to do that? So, but in order for women, especially, to feel comfortable, we have to get ourselves to a sense of comfort first. Are you usually a high-strung person? Do you get anxious easily? Are you easily overwhelmed? Like, what is the thing? So we have to figure out what that is and which oils will work for that. And I love this quote by Maya Angelou. If I'm not good to myself, how can I expect anyone else to be good to me? Okay. And Marissa Snyder, Dr. Marissa Snyder, who is the queen of essential oils and hormones, you know, she'll say that self-care is vital for boosting self-confidence, for maintaining good health, increasing your productivity and focus, lowering your stress levels. And when this all happens, guess what? We calm down, our hormone levels come into balance, we feel more at ease. And so we're going to start right now about learning how to scent the air with these kind of mood setting diffuser. Okay, so these are blends to chillax. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this if you are live or watching the replay. 2 drops of cedarwood, 2 drops of wild orange, 1 drop of ylang ylang. Okay, cedarwood helps to calm, helps to root. Wild orange is very uplifting. Ylang ylang, like I've seen so much in historical writings about how ylang ylang was used always as an aphrodisiac. To me, it smells absolutely divine, and when you blend it with other things, so good. Next one, 3 drops of lavender, 2 drops of clary sage, 2 drops of cedarwood. Again, mucho calming. Clary sage is one that is repeated over and over for women, especially women's hormones, women's libido. And then finally, 2 drops of patchouli, 2 drops of wild orange, 1 drop ylang ylang, 1 drop lavender. These are best to as diffuser blends. Okay, so if you have a diffuser at home, I'll tell you at the end how you can get them as well. These are great to just fill your diffuser with water, put all these drops in, and most diffusers go between. Most of mine in my house go from 8 to 12 hours. I have some that are 1 to 4, so it's just kind of up to you. Okay, we're ready to get to some essential oils to spice up your love life. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so scenting the air. Take a screenshot. Love is in the air. Diffuser blend for the day of love. So this was a Valentine's Day blend. But, you know, every day could be Valentine's Day, right, Kristina?
Absolutely.
Why
Absolutely
not? In the Mute diffuser blend, 2 drops of ylang ylang, wild orange, sandalwood, cedarwood, similar to the other one. So this is like coming up a lot, these recipes. Love potion, 2 drops lavender, 2 drops patchouli, and then some ylang ylang to top it off. Okay. We have an oily linen spritzer. So this is where, if you don't have a diffuser, if you don't want it going off, like again, if your partner says, you know, I don't really want that thing humidifying into the air, you can be like, okay, would you mind if I spritz the sheet, you know, ahead of time? How's this smell? Glass spray bottle, 1 to 2 tablespoons of witch hazel, and that just helps, like I said, to mix better the essential oils with the water. 10 drops each of bergamot, ginger, lime, ylang ylang, and then top it off with distilled water. So just having a purified water is important. Shake well before every time you use it, and lightly mist your sheets. Okay, we're getting into igniting passion. You guys ready? We don't have a ton of time, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each one of these, but I did just want to give you a quick like view of all the ones that help in the bedroom that you might want in your repertoire. So take a quick note or screenshot it. Black pepper, super warming oil, healthy, helps strengthen the circulation, can stimulate appetite, literally and sexually. So always dilute with that coconut oil if you have that, or any carrier oil, grapeseed extract, the coconut oil from your kitchen, olive oil, but I don't know, maybe you don't want to smell like olive oil. I think it's fine. You can kind of lick it off, whatever. Spice of cinnamon. Okay, this is considered a warming oil as well. So this is one that people tend to be a little bit more sensitive to. If you have 1 drop in, like, let's say a roller ball, you can look up roller bottle on Amazon or aromatools.com, and you would do maybe 1 drop of cinnamon, all the other, you know, drops that you want, and then fill it with fractionated coconut oil to dilute it, because this one can be sometimes sensitive for people's skin. But it's a super, super warming, like healthy circulation oil. So definitely need this in your repertoire. The exotic sandalwood, okay? This helps calming, tends to be an aphrodisiac. I have made different spritzers, like in a little spray bottle like this for guys with sandalwood and wild orange. They think it smells like a cologne to them. It's amazing. It promotes emotional openness, and it tends to be an exotic scent for most people. Sweetness of ginger, also a sweet, warm oil, supports the circulatory system. I see a theme here, don't you? Increases the openness in both men and women, and dilute that one as well. Okay, the desire of ylang yabang. Yes, I said that correctly. A floral scent, it increases desire, encourages attraction, and supports the circulatory system. One of the most powerful essential oil aphrodisiacs. Now, we learned at one of our conferences about the visuals of flowers. Like if you picture a rose and how it starts off like encompassed like this, and then it kind of opens and there's so many petals, and it actually feels when you look at it like it's like a big hug. There's jasmine oil. It represents freedom. So it's a little delicate petals, and it kind of opens and it looks like this. Like it makes you think like openness. I have my arms out to the side. But ylang ylang, I just think look like that flower is having a ton of fun. I don't know about you, but I think it's wild. So yeah, so it helps to study the flowers and what they look at and how they open. Okay, last three here. I'm just going to go quickly through these. Hugely, and any kind of delicate flower that is an essential oil, you can think of that it's going to be super healthy for women. So as you can see down here, libido booster, you can roll on the ankles. These are where the reflex points are for the genital areas. So you can roll that all over your ankles, and they conveniently come in roller bottles, which is amazing. Okay, guys, food.
I love that picture.
I know, it just got me. I just had to include it. So melted chocolates. I don't have a specific recipe for this, but there's so many online. I wanted you to kind of have fun with it. So you can just literally melt your favorite chocolate, add 1 to 2 drops of essential oils, peppermint. I do a lot in brownies and fudge, wild orange for like a softer, lighter, even lavender is great for a lighter, or cinnamon bark is good for the spice, okay? Dipping with the pretzels. This guy, I'm sure he put, you know, some essential oils in his little, I just can't even stand it. I got to change before I get hot here. All right. So who's ready for some juicy, oily tricks? Yes, we haven't gotten juicy yet. Boom. Here's your personal lubricant. And, you know, Kristina and I are professionals, so we wouldn't suggest to you, which we have not tried ourselves. So these are totally safe. And remember that like some people are like, you know, Jenny, can I put these on the private parts? Like, are they safe enough? 100% absolutely. And in fact, just quick while you're jotting these down or taking a screenshot, part of my story is that at the beginning, when I really started to find some massive health changes with essential oils, I had about a 10-year, you know, process of using antibiotics for an inflammation problem that I had. So my doctor would always prescribe antibiotics. Well, the side effect of antibiotics, especially for women, is yeast infection. And so what was happening is I was constantly having to battle that. And so one of the first things that I did with essential oils was use it internally in my lady bits. And it helped immensely. And I just put it like on a little tampon, whoop, and put it right up there. So a lot of people, Kristina, come to me and they're like, you know, but like, are they safe? I'm like, look at the products that you use at, you know, name your store, and like, look at the ingredients that they use for douche or whatever it is. And it's like you were saying, the concept of douching is like, why would you clean that out? You know, like that's what your period
is.
It's
a self-cleaning oven. You don't need to douche your vagina. Like you don't need to. It's funny that you say tampons too, because now that menstrual cups are becoming a lot more popular, people are like, oh my God. And I'm like, you checked what's in a tampon lately? Like,
yes, and it's funny, you know, I did mention that, and I did use it, but I don't remember the last time besides that I actually used a tampon. And the other thing you can do if you don't use tampons is do a syringe and kind of throw it up there. You know,
we have a lube applicator. Yeah,
voila. And we can talk more later for anyone who, you know, has this issue, because a lot of women have this issue and they don't know how to deal with it, you know, so I'm happy to talk more about that. Okay, increased blood flow. You guys, we're getting into what's going to be good for the guys here. So I won't read all of this. Go ahead, take a shot. But see at the bottom where it says for more of a slip inside, you can actually use Almond oil, avocado, or macadamia, they actually do not absorb as well as the coconut oil for purposes of lubrication. So these are great choices as well. Okay, inner thigh potion. This is again just to stimulate the blood flow, clary sage, cypress orange, and a carrier oil around the inner thighs. This is all just personal preference. You can try one of these and stick with it. And please let us know how these work, by the way. Okay, for the dudes, here we go. 1 cypress, passion, and birch. Birch is not super easily accessible, so you can just leave that one out. I'm going to tell you later about passion real quick. But for multiple times, guys and girls, promotes in the pants growth, rosemary and sandalwood right on the nuts. Immortelle, it's called Solubel in Australia, gets rid of the wrinkles. Yes, it does. Thank you. Next. For the ladies, okay? If you need some more and get your tank flow in there, these are the ones for you. So Claricum can be rolled on the ankles as well, and the thighs. Geranium can be used as with a carrier oil and rubbed on the thighs and the tender bits. 0 to 62 minutes, just saying. Okay, and finally, a drop of peppermint, Slim and Sassy, which is a blend that we have at doTERRA, or a peppermint beadlet will leave a beautiful sensation, hint, hint, wherever your lips shall kiss. Take a screenshot. Going 3, going 2, going 1. Okay, so flowers die, you guys. I love flowers, but they die. Essential oils are forever. They will literally outlast you. That is how long they will last in these little bottles, unless you use them up in a month like I do. Plus, how much fun are they? Like, there's so much fun.
So many fabulous things.
So many fabulous things. Okay, so we want to thank you for joining us today. I know that was a super quick intro to all the things. We could literally deep dive into probably each one of those slides, right, Kristina?
Absolutely.
So in the chat, I don't know, I don't have it, what am I trying to say?
I do have it up. There's nothing else in there yet.
What's that?
There's nothing in there yet.
I was gonna say, if you have these copied, actually maybe I can do it, but if you have these links copied, we can put them in the chat. But yes, we can also email them to you guys afterward. But go ahead and, you know, the ones that are highlighted, these websites are where you can, you know, get essential oils. They're where you can get browse Kristina's website to look at toys, the pheromone products, all the stuff and all the things. Go on Facebook, just type in Oil This by Jennie. It should pop right up. It's a free community, open public community where I just educate all about essential oils. And Kristina, what's up with your VIP lounge?
Yes, so my VIP lounge, there's a lot of, I do want to let you know too, I just put the links into the chat for everyone to check out. My VIP lounge, there's some adult humor in there. I also post all of my latest steals, deals, and upcoming events. I do hold things like naughty bingos, which is, you know, like bingo, but with sex toys and spa products.
Super fun.
And I'm always happy to answer questions about products, about the business opportunity, about workshops and upcoming events, like I said. So please feel free to reach out to me either on Facebook, or you can go through my website as well. Like I said, I just posted the link to that. But it's all about communication, right? We just talked about it, but it's about, you know, finding out what works for you and your partner. So I'm all about the conversation.
Yeah, it's huge. Well, let's continue that. And then finally, the deals of the month, the passion that I was talking about, it's really when feelings of boredom and disinterest take over, doTERRA Passion is helping you to rekindle feelings of excitement, passion, and joy. So it can be used for like passion, or just to like inspire, you know, for life. This product is 10% off this month. And then for newbies, if you're brand new to essential oils, you can actually earn a free red mandarin, which is very uplifting. So you can replace any of the ones where we mentioned citrus today. You can replace it with red mandarin. Serenity is a calming one. So if you're very anxious, it can help you calm right down. Any order of 100 or more will get you the red mandarin by tomorrow. So this is the last of the month. and then any of 200 or more will get you both of them. So that is my deal of the month. And again, I'm happy to give extras for anyone seeing this. And then here are Kristina's. Whoop.
There we go. Yes, so with mine, I'm doing a Bedroom Essentials pheromone special. So Athena's, like I had mentioned before, Athena's carries quite a few products that are pheromone infused. So all you have to do is contact me directly to get this special. If you buy one pheromone product at full price, you can get any additional products at 20% off. So all you have to do is contact me directly, say, oh my God, I listened to that amazing webinar that you did with Jennie, and I'm really interested in those pheromone products. So we have a moisturizing body oil, a body mist. Silky Sheets is actually talc in spray form. So you can put that on sheets like the name implies. It's great for covering or getting scents out of things like couches, shoes, things that you can't necessarily throw in the washer. And then a soy candle, a perfume oil, a lotion, and a body and linen mist. So there's a whole lot of pheromone products that Athena's offers, and you can get them at a discount.
Love it, love it. Well, thank you again so much, everyone, and thank you, Kristina, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I would love to do this again, and Kristina and I have big plans, you guys, for offering this kind of in-person stuff in the community. So we'll have more updates about that. But again, we can be hired together or separately. So make sure you reach out to us, and we would love to come to a house party near you.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys. Mwah. Have a beautiful rest of your day. We're going to stop share.